Because Iowa does not play defense, everybody loves Caitlin Clark, and we've talked about it a bunch of times on here. The winner of LSU and UCLA is going to come out of that region, especially if everybody's healthy on LSU. I got to put my money on LSU.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with us today on this Throwdown Thursday as we preview the women's NCAA tournament, our favorite administrator, Robert Abney. Robert, thank you for coming, man. How you doing?
Living the dream as always. Let's see what we got here, shall we?
All right. Academic and athletic consultant for the CK Save Project, George Ocker. George, thank you for joining us tonight, man. We're going to talk some women's hoops, girl. Dad, how are you?
Appreciate it. I'm good.
All right. Segment one. The women's tournament does it by region, so we'll do regions 1 and 2 in segment 1. We'll do regional 3 and 4 in segment 2, and in segment 3, we got to sneak some college football in. They already got 14 before they have 12. But first, Region 1, top 4 seeds. Number 1, South Carolina. Number 2, Notre Dame. Number 3, Oregon State. And number 4, Indiana. And we've got 2 sleeper teams on my end. And fans, when we say sleeper teams, we just mean they might mess up an early bracket. They ain't going to win this thing. But Fairfield's won 30 games, and I love Florida Gulf Coast. So, George, starting with you, Region 1. We all know South Carolina's coming out of there, but who else is catching your eye?
It's holding chalk for me. I'm looking at a final of South Carolina versus Notre Dame.
Okay.
I don't see anything slipping up here, going awry. Hey, it's the tournament. Things happen. We are dealing with kids, but yeah, after going through the season, because your sleeper teams would both have to either face each other, and then we'll find that one of them would have to wind up seeing South Carolina.
Yeah.
So, and there's nobody on the back half of that region that's gonna bother with Notre Dame. So,
yeah. All right, Robert. What about you? Anybody catch your eye, or is South Carolina? And let's hit Region 2.
Well, I think Oregon State's capable of making a run to the regional final.
Okay.
That's a good team from the Pac-12 and the Pac-12 was a really good tournament, and Oregon State didn't get a whole lot of love because everybody talked about Stanford, everybody talked about Juju at USC, and Oregon State is pretty good. So I could see them making the regional final, but nobody's beating South Carolina, not in this region.
All right, so we're going to go to Region 2. Number 1 is Iowa. Number 2 is UCLA. Number 3 is LSU. Number 4 is Kansas State. Shout out to Dr. Lisa Rubin, friend of the show. Sleeper teams, I like Princeton. They can play. They can mess up and beat somebody in the first round. Colorado is good. Drake is good. And UNLV is good. But with that being said, fellas, I got LSU coming out of this one. George, what are you thinking about Region 2?
Because Iowa does not play defense, everybody loves Caitlin Clark, and we've talked about it a bunch of times on here. The winner of LSU and UCLA is going to come out of that region, especially if everybody's healthy on LSU. I got to put my money on LSU coming back. So that's where it is.
All right, Robert, will you break will you mention Iowa, or are you with us with LSU?
Well, you
Say
know that it is in ESPN has Holly Rowe following Caitlin Clark around everywhere she goes for the duration of Iowa's run in the NCAA tournament. So you know that it would be ESPN's preference that they get to the Final Four. That being said, this is an awfully tough region for Iowa to get out of, given that they do not play a lot of defense. UCLA is very good. LSU obviously is very good. You want a sleeper team? UNLV only lost 3 games over the course of the year. That's a good team from the Mountain West. I agree with George. The winner of that UCLA LSU game is is going to make it to the Final Four. I think that's going to be LSU myself.
All right. So, fans, when we get back, we're going to do Region 3 and we're going to do Region 4. We'll be right back on the Our Coaches Podcast.
The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in advocating for student-athlete, academic, and athletic needs. Through academic and athletic enrichment, the CKA SAVE Project is on the forefront of the issues facing 21st century student-athletes. As student-athletes continue to struggle to find a better balance between academic and athletic success, the CKA SAVE Project offers academic and athletic services to support student-athlete academic success, including academic skills assessment, academic and athletic consulting, academic monitoring, academic and athletic workshops. For more information or to schedule a free consultation, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Our Coaches Podcast. In segment 2, we are on Regional 3. Top 4 seeds. Number 1, USC. Shout out to the Cotton Man. Ohio State is 2. UConn's 3. UConn's 3. And Virginia Tech is 4. Sleeper teams coming out of this region. Marshall's not bad. It's a sleeper team if you want something for the first round. Baylor is good. They could beat people. And Columbia is good, again, if you want something strictly for entertainment purposes only. But, hey, I'm not going against UConn as much as I like Juju, and I can't wait for the country to see her play. I got UConn. George, what do you got out of Region 3, sir?
I love Juju, and Will Cotton. This is for you. Yeah, I really want to see her, but I don't know if they're going to get past Baylor. Tell you the truth, my right now, I got the winner of that UConn Ohio State game will come out of that region.
Okay, Robert, what are you thinking?
I kind of agree with the two of you. I mean, Baylor is very good. And it wouldn't shock me at all if Baylor beats USC in the Sweet 16 and comes out in the regional final. Virginia Tech is a good team, but I know they're a little banged up right now. Iowa State is very good, but Paige buckets, man. It's I got to go with Paige buckets. I think UConn is going to come out of this regional.
Yeah, and something you said a couple of weeks ago, Robert, she's watching Caitlin Clark get that attention too. And we all got egos when you get to this level. So it might be a hold my beer kind of thing with Paige buckets to say, hey, I can hoop too. Yep. So we're gonna move to Region 4. Top 4 seeds. 1 is Texas, 2 is Stanford, 3 is NC State, and 4 is Gonzaga. Sleeper teams, I like South Dakota State. And UM, the Maryland Terps, Maryland, Maryland will win. Good luck to the Terps. But, hey, I got Stanford coming out of this. George, 1, you said Maryland's good enough to be in. I didn't think they'd be in, so good call on your part. What are you thinking about, sir?
NC State, I think, is going to do well. I still think Stanford's going to come out of the region. It'll probably be that winner of that NC State Stanford game as they go. Utah's going to be tough. I like the young lady they have in the post down there. But I got to go with you. Stanford's going to come out of that region.
Robert, what are you thinking about, sir?
You know, I sure do like South Dakota State, and they just did not get a good draw. They've got to face Utah, right out of the gate,
but they're doing it in Spokane, Washington.
It is. I mean, that's South Dakota State will have some fans there. I guarantee you that. It wouldn't shock me at all if Utah makes a regional final, makes a run, beats Gonzaga, beats Texas, and winds up in the regional final. Stanford is really good, and I think they're going to wind up in the Final Four.
Yeah. All right, so fans, when we get back in segment 3, 14 before 12, we'll talk about the college football playoffs when we get back on the Our Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fallon Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Our Coaches Podcast. And in segment 3, the conferences and Notre Dame agreed to a new playoff deal before the new playoff deal started. All 9 FBS conferences and Notre Dame have agreed to the next college football playoff contract, which will begin in 2026 and bring the sport's postseason much closer to 14 with guarantees for conference champions. There is a memorandum of understanding guarantee that the field will have at least 12 teams in 2026 and beyond, but sources indicate that there's a strong preference for 14. Now, the SEC and the Big Ten are flexing their power. And as we say in social studies, follow the money. The financial distribution for the expected 14-team playoff will look very different. On an annual basis, for example, the Big Ten and SEC will each be making more than $21 million, up nearly $5.5 million that schools of Power 5 are currently getting. So that means everybody else is getting next to nothing. And speaking of next to nothing, the Pac-2 will be getting next to nothing. So, Robert, you're my administrator. This has come across your desk. What are you thinking about the new deal? Please share your thoughts.
So we're just going to go to 14, and we haven't even tried to see what 12 looks like just yet. Number one. I don't know. I don't understand this. I don't, I mean, clearly it is all about the money. The money wins the day. The SEC and the Big Ten are going to make it look like whatever they want it to look like. They may get guarantees that, their top 2 teams get in. If they have a conference championship game, that, their top 2 teams plus the next highest, I don't even know. But it's at this point, if I'm the athletic director at a school, it's like I have a football brain, and then I have a brain for every other sport and what it's going to look like, because what is happening with college football, and I don't think anybody can predict yet what the impact that's going to have on the other sports on a college campus. And I really do think it's just a matter of time before we have basically football at colleges. They're no longer students. They're just paid, they're employees, and, they can unionize, they sign contracts for employment. Maybe they take a few classes, who knows? I show me the money, man. Show me the money.
George, you're an athletic director. This has come across your desk. And one group of 5 athletic directors said they made us a Godfather offer. He actually said, "You made me an offer I can't refuse." George, what are you thinking about this?
Well, it is. It is a Godfather offer. They're strong arming everybody else, and I this is the first nail in the coffin of divorcing themselves from the NCAA. I see that because as soon in a minute we go to 14, that allows the Big Ten and the SEC to get more of their schools in. The minute we have somebody from the ACC or Big 12 start squawking about it or having a problem, they're going to dissolve it all together and make a super conference. And once the super conference comes, some people are going to be left out and won't get invited. And it is what it is. I mean, they don't need them. So,
And don't think for a second that the Pac-2, that there are not lawsuits coming.
no.
Don't think for a second that that's not happening, because you know, most of these schools are talking about, they're, at Big Ten and SEC 21 million, ACC 13 million, Big 12 12 million, Notre Dame 12 million, Washington State and Oregon State $360,000.
They signed it.
Exactly.
And Notre Dame ain't got to split that with nobody.
And I'm gonna tell you this: the foresight, you knew it was coming because the foresight of the AD at Florida State to go ahead and challenge their rights already to get them out of it, because you can see the writing on the wall for the super conference coming, because the money's there. Florida State's gonna bring money. SEC is sitting there with their arms wide open, like, "Yep, come on, because you're one of us." And you're gonna have, and it's gonna be the schools that can generate money, big money, versus the schools that can generate just a trickle, or then a mid-level, and then you got the trickle. I mean, the Texases, the Alabamas, the Floridas, Miamis, all of them, they're gonna have their own little group.
And in Texas, what you're really looking at is way up there.
Yep.
Are Texas and Texas A&M.
Right.
Okay. Right here, you got Baylor and TCU and Texas Tech, and Houston's down here a little bit. And then down here, we got
SMU, man. They're the ACC.
No.
I didn't sell you, Robert.
They're like right here with Houston, maybe.
Yeah.
And then down here we got, Texas State and Tarleton and Stephen F.
And couldn't sell you with SMU, man. They're in the ACC. They're in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
I don't care. There's a whole. You got a lot of teams.
I'll tell you, you go to Dallas and you walk around and you see UT stuff, you see A&M stuff, you see TCU stuff. You don't see SMU stuff, man. You don't see.
Not all you got to remember it. Not all these teams are getting invited to the party. Not all these schools gonna get invited to the party, and they're gonna be hurt. They're gonna be butt hurt when they don't get to go.
People are getting left out.
Yeah, they're gonna get butt hurt. So
football has destroyed basketball, and football doesn't care.
No, they don't care, because they make so much more money. Like your Cincinnati's of the world, your good programs, your Tulanes, your NC States, they're not going to get invited to the party, and it's going to be a problem. And they'll form their own little group together here at the other conference, but it won't be the mega conference. And the mega conference is going to be where the big money is.
All right. So fans, as we close this week, I think our panel will agree. I think the women's tournament is going to be way better than the men's tournament. So tune in. Do your brackets strictly for entertainment purposes only. And on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support.
From assessing student athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student athlete academic progress, to improving student athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA SAVE project provides wraparound services for student athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.